what drives me crazy is that this guy, even though he's not really culpable, I think if you're evaluating this fairly, he's not truly culpable for the passing of George Floyd, but he's going to do maybe 8 years. But then you have the murderer of Daniel Shaver in Arizona, which if you watch that video, it's one of the most egregious cop killings that has ever transpired in American history as far as I'm concerned. And he walks free. Better than that, he also gets a pension for his psychological damage from doing what he did.
This is the guy who was told to crawl on the ground?
Yes. Yep. Simon Says execution.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know much about that. When did this?
There was a guy in a hotel room and he had a pellet gun because he was a pest exterminator. Someone called into the police and said they saw someone with a gun. So these cops show up, scream at him with rifles pointed, saying, on the ground, put your hands up, put your hands down, crawl towards me, now put your hands up, now crawl towards me, now put your hands up. When the guy's pants start falling down, and he pulls them up, the cop just unloads on him.
He was drunk. He had his shirt off, and he was wearing sweatpants at the time. He was in a hotel, and they had him on his knees. And so as he's crawling towards them with his hands up, his knees are dragging and pulling his pants down, his sweats down. So he goes and he reaches down to pull them up, and
while crying.
Yeah.
And the cop just unloads on him.
Terrified.
He was horrified.
Yeah.
This George Floyd thing, I think it's another example of how technocracy is leading us to communism, because what happens is the media chooses what clips get shared over and over and over again. True. And what can't be shared. I tried to talk about the fentanyl.
Media? The media?
Yeah.
You mean
we'll say Facebook.
Social media algorithms?
Yeah, Meta, for instance, censored my posts trying to talk about the fentanyl in his system. The guy was doing an 8-ball or a speedball
against
or something.
the rules. It's hate speech.
Behind the wheel of a car. So like the media that got pushed out was the few minutes that he can't breathe, I can't breathe. People go crazy. And then the cops, the job of the law enforcement is like, protect the peace. They don't care about who's guilty or innocent. They don't want riots.
Yes.
So they...
Yep.
That's right.
This Tao is going to prison because they just want to avoid more social breakdown. That means, understand this, if you live in a city like Minneapolis, if you live in a city like Portland or Seattle, and you are a victim of violent crime from the likes of a far left extremist or even just a run-of-the-mill criminal, you could be the victim and there is no out for you. You fight back, you go to jail. You try and stop the criminals, you go to jail, just like the guys in the Ahmaud Arbery case. You cower in the corner of your house as people scream outside. The cops go into your home and they arrest you. That's what we've been seeing happen.
And of course, it's the black community in Minneapolis who suffer the most here because the police have been decimated there. They have virtual no protection from the police anymore. And so, now we're veering towards anarchy in our major cities as a result of the soft on crime policies resulting, where the Floyd killing was used as an excuse to advance this radical agenda of decriminalization of everything. They don't believe in putting anyone in prison for any reason.
Yeah.
It's not, they just don't oppose the death penalty. They don't want anyone in jail. And when you think the whole system's corrupt, all jails are corrupt and no one should go to them. This is a radical approach that's getting people killed right now as we speak.
Well, one minor clarification. It really is specifically dictionary definition anarcho-tyranny, because not only are they not enforcing violent crime laws, but they also disarm the people so they can't even defend themselves. So on both ends of it, you're basically just set up to be a victim.
And then is that because from the leader's perspective, if you have one class violating another class and then the other class decides to fight back, now you've got two classes of villains and you can arrest them all.
The criminals destabilize the system and keep people in a state of constant fear and chaos, unable to take any actions against the power structure. So long as there are people at the bottom fighting each other, the people in power are
because
protected.
We need grassroots movements to control the top. That's the whole point of the United States, is the people control the government. If the people are fighting each other, they're not going to be able to rein in that power structure. I'm just concerned that what Clint was saying, that the ship has sailed.